Hey, Global Village. Okay, if there was a way I could game the YouTube algorithm such that this particular video somehow got widespread coverage so that as many people as possible could actually watch it, then this would be the video I would pick. Even if anything else I ever created didn't get a single view, this would be the one. And the reason is, it goes to the very heart of exactly why I feel the way I do and exactly what my position is with regards to what's happening to the people in Palestine and my view of Israel and the Zionist project. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to play this clip and then I'll then further explain my position, and hopefully why I take that position should be a little more clear.
Child in Gaza should die of hunger. It's a disgrace and shame that in our country we even talk about hungry children in Gaza. It's a disgrace and shame that people, in just a few months, they forgot what we went through here on the 7th of October. All of Gaza and every child in Gaza should starve to death because of what the Gazans are doing to the hostages now. They are starving them and abusing them. And don't forget that those who are in Gaza and are choking and starving the hostages, they were once children. In Gaza, there are no uninvolved children. All the pictures I saw and the videos I unfortunately watched, all of them are of uninvolved civilians, not Hamas members who received with candies and baklavas bodies of hostages and live hostages and placed them inside the houses. They guarded them while they ate, and the hostages were hungry or dying of hunger. So if we're talking about the hungry, let them worry about the hungry hostages or the hungry parents who will be hungry all their lives to see their child return to life. We did not learn from Amalek when we left a trace of them. And if this time a trace of them remains, the 7th of October will return, just in a different years. I do not have mercy for those who do not care for our children. I do not have mercy for those who in a few years will grow up and not have mercy for us. I have no compassion for those who shed the blood of Jews who did nothing wrong to them.
Okay, yeah. I'm not even sure what to really do with that. At the end of the day, though, this rhetoric, which was, a rabbi speaking to a large congregation in Israel, and who apparently is wildly popular, very popular apparently in social media and online, has expressed very clearly his position about the people of Gaza. And based on this kind of sentiment, if there's one thing we can be certain of, it's that Israel aren't going to suddenly have a change of heart and realize that starving 2 million people is actually a deeply inhumane, bordering on grotesquely barbaric, well, not bordering on, it's the very definition of grotesquely barbaric behavior, and a deep shame to all of humanity. They're not going to have that epiphany. They've already seen all the images. They've seen children being burnt alive, people having their legs and heads blown off, and all of this horrific stuff. And they're pretty cool with it, because at the end of the day, their entire belief system has allowed them to completely dehumanize the people of Gaza and indeed all of Palestine. And this really comes to my particular view of Zionism, because at the end of the day, I think what I call soft apologists just aren't going to cut it, because there's a lot of rhetoric where people are now kind of condemning the starvation tactics being used on the Palestinian people. but they just want this, can't we all get along? And they're still rushing to condemn Hamas. Now, this whole "but do you condemn Hamas" thing is absolutely absurd. And the reason it's absurd is the true root cause of this problem occurred, well over 75 years ago, ostensibly during the establishment of the Israeli state. And it can be literally traced back to the whole ideology of Zionism, which is fundamentally a belief system which promotes inequality and racism. So it was always trouble right from the start, and Hamas didn't even exist then. And from that point of view, we can see Hamas as a symptom of the problem rather than any type of causative contribution to it. And therefore, spending time debating whether, do you condemn Hamas and how bad is Hamas and how much of a role do they have to play in this tragedy, it completely dodges the deeper and underlying issue here, which is that for over 75 years, the people of Palestine have been displaced, suppressed, occupied, and brutalized. And so the real issue is not why we haven't condemned Hamas. The real issue is why we haven't condemned Israel for the prior 75 years of brutality. And that all of a sudden it took that event for everyone to actually wake up. Now, and I was one of those people. So after October the 7th, everything just felt wrong. The rhetoric about everything felt wrong. And I've always felt uneasy about Israel's position. Something they never quite passed the sniff test from my point of view. Something just felt off. But nonetheless, after October the 7th, I decided, I'm going to read some serious literature on the subject. And specifically, I read Max Blumenthal's Goliath. Now, this is a very lengthy book whereby he embedded himself within Israeli society. And, he really provided both historical context and on-the-ground, real-life, face-to-face, everyday reporting of what it means to live in Israeli society. And one thing is absolutely crystal clear after reading that book, and that is Israel as a society is rotten from the core up. The belief system indoctrinates their children from the moment they enter the education system, and even before, socially and culturally, to both demonize and fear the people of Palestine, the Arab population, those that are not the chosen ones. So the reality is, even more moderate Israelis have a very they have a contemptuous way of viewing the Palestinian people as being somehow lesser, as somehow being not worthy of basic human rights. And they will rationalize everything that's happening as ultimately being the fault of the Palestinian people themselves, without ever taking accountability of how the Palestinian people have been treated, how their land has been stolen, how to this very day you have settler fanatics who go in there, literally murder Palestinian people in their own homes, and then get little more than a rap across the knuckles. And so there is no service to justice for the horrific behaviour they do. And they will hand-wave this away. Greater Israeli society will just hand-wave that away. Oh, well, those settlers don't really represent us, but they're not going to call for any actual real justice to be put upon them, because at the end of the day, the Palestinian people, they just don't really deserve it, because at the end of the day, it's all their fault. So my position here couldn't be more clear. The Zionist project must be condemned. You want to ask me, do I condemn Hamas? Wrong question. The real question we should be asking is, do you condemn Zionism? And the only correct answer to that is yes. The Zionist project has to end, because there will be no peace for the Palestinian people. There will be no freedom, and at the end it will probably mean the complete eradication of Palestine as a contemporary entity. And the only people that will be left will be those who are full-time 100% occupied and or made asylum seekers and sent into exile into neighbouring countries, or even countries overseas that decide to accept them into their borders and into their and give them citizenship. That's where we're at with this, and it won't stop there either. Israel is already working very hard on West Bank. It's clear that at the end of the day, West Bank's days are numbered as well, and then that probably won't be enough either. They'll then probably start pursuing other land grabs, neighbouring areas of Lebanon, perhaps even parts of Jordan. It's not going to stop, because this is a predatory and expansionist project based on a racist and an ideology based upon inequality fully baked into it. So, yeah, again, my position is clear. I don't accept the arguments of what I call soft apologists, or people that recognise there's a problem, that talk about a two-state solution as if it's actually viable, as if Israel ever had any real interest in a two-state solution. That is an absolute nonsense. The whole idea of a two-state solution has been nothing but a form of propaganda to keep the project going, to keep the rest of the world placated as if this was some sort of hope, some sort of possibility at some point in the future. It's never going to happen. It's nothing but a hand-waving illusion. There can be no compromise here. The rest of the world has to wake up to what's been going on. Everyone has been hypnotized and controlled, both by Jewish Zionism and Christian Zionism, and enormous amounts of money pushed into this propaganda globally, which seek to suppress any form of legitimate and real pushback against what Israel are doing. And that it can get this far, that we can be literally watching a genocide live streamed in real time, and still the world leaders are only willing to softly push back with rhetorical condemnation without any real or material impact on Israel, just goes to show how powerful the Zionist movement is globally, and how we have to take it very seriously, and that we have to not show any compromise and say the game is up. The genie is out of the bottle. We see what is going on. You guys aren't hiding it. We heard this guy talking right here in real time. We see what they think, the way they feel. And that this is what we're up against. You cannot reason with someone who talks like this. And it is wrong to try and say that this is just a fringe element of the Israeli community. It's not. Not all of them speak like this. A lot of them don't speak like this, but they just aren't saying the quiet bit out loud. This guy is, and more of them are. So we have to wake up and understand what's going on here. All right, Bendy out.